Well, this is a really good Spike Lee film, and I honestly think he's been on kind of a roll for a while. I don't because like when I was leaving the screening of Highest to Lowest, a lot of people said, "Oh, it was good to see Spike make a good one. We haven't seen that in a while." I'm like thinking, what? I mean, yeah, I haven't seen Chirac, but I think the last thing I saw of his was the movie where like a bunch of friends from Vietnam go back there. And then like Delroy Lindo has like a full blown meltdown. I can't remember the name of the film, but it was on Netflix and I liked it a lot. This movie is actually on Apple TV, and it is called Highest to Lowest. It is a remake of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low, which if you have HBO Max, you can get it for free on there, and I highly recommend it. It is a fantastic film. This movie is also pretty good. Is it fantastic? Not so much in my opinion. I think there are some flaws with with some of the mise en scène of the film that turn me off. Like for instance, the score that plays throughout the movie plays so loudly that it almost drowns out the dialogue of certain scenes. Yet I kind of don't mind that because the dialogue in a lot of the scenes are really cheesy. Like, it sounds like something George Lucas would write. You know, for instance, there's this one scene where David King, who's played by Denzel Washington, he's this music mogul. You know, he's an empire, and he wants to expand it in the film. Anyways, his wife's talking to him, and she says, "Your life, your real passion, it's about the music." And it was just the way she said it and how long it went on, where it felt like a soap opera. But you know what? That's kind of Spike Lee's charm, is that his movies are very over the top. They don't try to hide what they're trying to say, and they smash you over the head with his messaging, but it works because it's nuanced. And that was the thing that was interesting about this film, is that although the movie is a remake of a film, there goes my dog, is a remake of a film about that's a thriller. That's about a young kid who gets abducted, and then the music mogul, or in the original's case, it was a guy who ran a shoe company, had to pay some millions of dollars, or in Japan it's yen, to rescue the kid. And his moral conundrum is, do I really want to pay the money? And in the original, it was hinted that I think his name was Gordon, or something like that. Names are my kryptonite. But in the original, I'll just call him Mr. Gordon. He, he comes off like a jerk at the beginning, but then you see that he actually has a heart and he is a good person. But you even get that halfway through that he's a good person. In this film, David King, he comes off like he makes Ebenezer Scrooge look like a good guy. There's one particular scene where the person whose kid that has been abducted by the guy who wants the millions of dollars is begging David for the money, and instead of being kind and compassionate and maybe calmly explaining why he doesn't want to pay it, which already is kind of a cruel thing not to pay it, he lectures Jeffrey Wright's character. He's played by Jeffrey Wright. I can't remember the character's name because the name's alright, kryptonite. That's what IMDb is for. He lectures Jeffrey Wright about why he doesn't want to pay the money and how everyone is leeching off of him. And he starts like angrily stacking like books or records on top of each other while he's telling him why he doesn't want him to leech off of him. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. The guy's kid is kidnapped and he might die unless you give him the money. And instead of at least pretending to be nice, you're telling him you're just like everyone else. And maybe I misinterpreted the scene, but pretty much just his aggression in the scene alone, even if misinterpreted, is not appropriate in that situation. And is it a story about a guy who goes from being evil to being good? I can't give you that answer. But what I can tell you is that although this could have just been another thriller like Ransom, which I think might be a dumbed down version of High and Low, it's actually more of a movie about what you're passionate about and what makes you want to basically live. And basically David King's character wants to live for the music, and he learns through this situation why he's passionate about music. Now, there's more I could get into, but I have a written review that you can check out at ypareviews.com, which will give you all of the details on the film, and the written review link should be there. But I really liked it, you know, because you got Spike Lee style, which, yes, it could be intrusive. Like, at one point, a character who's a Yankees fan directly, like, addresses the camera and yells, "Boston sucks." But I gotta say, I kind of liked that. It was kind of like, hey, Spike Lee's telling you, I'm from New York, I love this team, I don't care what you think. You know, which is kind of obnoxious. And his movies do kind of come off a little obnoxious, but in a good way. He's very similar to Quentin Tarantino. I mean, the movies aren't exactly done the same, although they both do kind of use wide depths of field and very over-the-top music. But I like Spike better than Quentin, maybe. But that's a whole... But those are two totally different directors. But no, this movie I actually liked. I liked it quite a bit. Although I will say it's soap opera-like elements and Spike's style. It both works for the movie, and it's also intrusive. And there's also just some scenes, there's one particular towards the end that's like a music video that could have been cut, because it just, I got why it's in the movie, but it was just dumb. But yeah, the movie was a 3 out of 4 for me, so go check it out. It will be in theaters this Friday, and I think it's streaming on Apple TV Plus on August 2nd or the 5th. I'll have that detail in the description. Okay.